Hey everyone, welcome to Achievement Through Attitude TV. I'm your host and attitude coach, Phil Stringer. This program is about getting an attitude adjustment because we all know that from time to time we need an attitude adjustment. But it's also about helping you find an attitude to keep you moving in the right direction, to give you a kick in the pants, to help you get up when you fall down. The people that we bring on this program have all been faced with tremendous challenges, and they've all succeeded simply due to their amazing attitudes. These folks have attitudes of never hang your head, never surrender. They wake up in the morning and they say, yes, I will, nothing will stop me. They talk about perseverance, they talk about laughter, they talk about passion. They're committed, they're willing to make a sacrifice, they have vision, and they have focus. But overall, when you take all those attitudes and put them together, they need to be fearless. And they're fearless with everything that they pursue. And when they approach it with that fearlessness, there's nothing that they can't do. Guys, today we're going to talk about leadership, an attitude of leadership, and we're going to talk about meeting the challenge. And the gentleman that we have on today, let me tell you what, he embodies this to the T. He is 32 years in the United States Marine Corps, Sergeant Major retired. His story is amazing, his attitude is amazing. So guys, stay tuned to get your attitude adjusted with Sergeant Major Ron Kirby next on Achievement Through Attitude TV. Hey everyone, welcome back to Achievement Through Attitude TV. Today's attitude is leadership, and we're going to talk about meeting the challenge. And as I said in the introduction, no one embodies that better than Mr. Ron Kirby, or should I say Sergeant Major Ron Kirby. Ron, thanks for coming to Achievement Through Attitude TV.
Hoorah, it's my pleasure.
Hoorah. Let's just dive right in and take us back to when you first decided you were going to become a Marine.
Well, being from Virginia, you know, you're taught history from about you're 3 years old on, and I've loved history, and the Corps was the right thing for me. Smartest decision I ever made in my life.
Now, when you, how old were you when you decided to go to the Corps?
17.
17. You know, today we're talking about leadership, and we're going to touch on that, but when did you decide, or when did you know that you had those qualities of a leader?
Well, leaders are not born, leaders are developed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of people say, well, that's a natural born leader. Well, that's not true. As an example, if you take your best athletes in schools mm-hmm. and stuff, and how many people do they ever bring around them and start teaching their skills? They
right.
don't, because they're not leaders yet.
Right.
So we develop leaders.
Right. So when you were at boot camp, you had a mentor.
Well, yeah, you know, you have 3 drill instructors,
right.
and they mentor you pretty hard.
I'm sure.
My real mentor came to me when I went to Vietnam. When I returned from Vietnam, Robert L. Allen was the most important person in my life in the Marine Corps.
Now, what lessons did he lay on you? Pretty heavily, I'm guessing.
Oh boy, I tell you, he was tough. He would ask me a question in the morning like, "What's the 6 troop lead steps?" And I wouldn't know.
Right.
I mean, I was a kid from boot camp to Vietnam and then back to the fleet.
Right.
And I'd go home and I'd study all night long so I would know the answer. The next
right.
morning I'd be standing in formation. I was like, okay, come on, Sergeant Allen, ask me a question. Well, he'd ask me a totally different question. And I said, you got to be kidding me. What I didn't realize was this man was mentoring me. He saw something in me, so he challenged me.
Right.
And that challenge was so important because it turned me into an outstanding young NCO.
Right. When we talk about challenges here, we talk about there's never a challenge, there's always an opportunity. In every challenge, there's an opportunity.
Absolutely. It's, let me tell you, for example, for Robert L. Allen, he retired as Master Gunnery Sergeant,
mm-hmm.
and unfortunately he's passed away at this
right.
time. But every minute of every day, he was challenging you. He was asking you questions. He was teaching. This man taught me sword manual in the field with a stick. That's how good he was at challenging people and seeing if you could rise to his challenge, mm-hmm. which I thrived on it.
Right. So you ate up that meet the challenge, that attitude. You just ate it up as a young man, and as I know that you do now.
Yep.
But was that just something you found inside that you just had it, or was it something that you had to work on?
I think I had the desire, but I needed someone to teach me how to do these things. And you know, to me, when you're going to become a great leader, when someone teaches you something, you take that and you run with it. They don't have to teach you over and over and over, but they gave me the opportunity. See, if I didn't have that opportunity, if Robert Allen would have looked at some of these other guys, well, if he saw that I had it in me, that I wanted to do this stuff, then he afforded me the opportunity to excel.
It's the want to. And you weren't afraid to earn what you wanted either.
No, that was the great thing about it, Phil, as you go and you work so hard. Then other people start recognizing, man, this guy is sharp NCO. That's a great feeling. Right.
So then you had people coming to you. So you were boot camp, Vietnam, back to the States. Then a drill instructor?
Yes, I was a drill instructor at Parris Island.
Okay, now how many years were you at Parris Island?
2.5 years.
2.5 years. And then you weren't afraid to try everything and anything, so your career is diverse as far as Marines go. I mean, you would say yes basically to everything.
I wanted to do everything.
Right.
See, the Marine Corps has so many opportunities for you. Sometimes we get wrapped around the axle, we want to stay on the drill field and stuff, and I had that opportunity, but I said, no, I prefer to go out and see the different things the Marine Corps has and learn the entire Marine Corps concept. And that's another thing I have to give Master Gunny Allen for. He was the one that pushed me. He said, don't do the same thing twice. Go do something new. Learn about the other Marines in the Corps.
Right. So he challenged you to push yourself.
Absolutely, yeah. And he did a great job of it.
I'm sure. And one other thing we talk about as a leader, communication was very important for you as you moved through into your different areas. You developed a rapport with people.
Yes, you know, the deal, Phil, is when someone is taking that time and put that effort into you, you'll wonder, well, what do I owe, or what do I give back? The answer to that is you take and develop other people.
Right.
You see that person that has that fire in them, and you take the time to teach them the things that have been taught to you.
Yeah. So leadership is about being selfless. You know, it's about being able to have that selfless act. It's about not stepping over the person that's down on the ground in front of you. It's about being able to pick that person up and let them know that there's a new day tomorrow, that there's an opportunity for them tomorrow.
True. A quick story, Beirut, Lebanon had a young man by his name was Pollock. Pollock was the best machine gunner I'd ever seen, but Pollock was not your top of the notch Marine.
Right.
So as I'm checking lines in Beirut, I tell Pollock, I say, Pollock, you better start studying because you're going up for Marine of the Month next month. So his other kids around him, they're kind of laughing. Pollock?
Right.
Well, make a long story short, put some time into Pollock. Pollock went from a Lance Corporal, which is an E3, to an E5 in a year and a half because he had an opportunity. He seized it, he took advantage of it, and did a fabulous job out there. Pollock's one of my favorite stories in the Marine Corps.
That's awesome. What I want to talk about next is, I find this amazing and fascinating, is the silent drill team.
Yeah.
Now, you were there, I believe, was it 2.5 years?
87 to 90.
And you led that.
Yes.
That, I don't want to call it a unit or division or.
Well, you have, as you've seen the pictures there, they're doing the front and back. That's the long line. You have General Monahan, who lives in Sun City, was the CO of the barracks when I was there.
Okay.
He was a great commanding officer. And that right there, if that doesn't motivate you, nothing in life will motivate you. You know, those kids work really hard. They spend a lot of time learning that routine. There's no commands given. It's the epitome of leadership, discipline, and teamwork. Exactly.
You know, at the beginning of the show, I was talking about, being committed, being able to make a sacrifice for that commitment, and obviously, anybody that serves in the military and performs these duties, they have that.
Yes. That's to go to the barracks is an honor in itself. I mean, you want to do other things, but that was one of my other opportunities that I had that I cherished. I love drill, so the silent drill team was a natural for me. Right. Now,
did you have a hard time leaving there? Because I know there was other opportunities that came across your,
Yeah, no, it was time to go.
It was time to go.
Yeah, you do your time at typically the Marine Corps puts you somewhere for 3 years. And you make as great a mark as you can in that 3 years. And it's good because it brings in new leadership with new ideas, and you move with your ideas. And that's what makes the Marine Corps very unique, is the fact you do constantly change over and have different leadership.
Right. Now, with that leadership that they constantly bring in, what do you find that's a constant with those leaders that they try to bring in, or what?
Number one is their passion,
Right.
their dedication to helping you be as great as you want to be. They're going to help you get there. One thing the Marine Corps ain't hurting for is leadership. I'm telling you, it's on your left, it's on your right, to your front, and to your rear.
Right.
And I am telling you, for any young man or woman that's looking for a challenge but are going to be taken care of,
Right.
there's no greater place in the United States Marine Corps.
That's amazing. So guys, when we come back, we're going to learn a little bit about what Ron did after the silent drill team, and we're going to learn a little bit about what he's doing today as far as pursuing leadership and meeting the challenge in the civilian life. So guys, stay tuned to Achievement Through Attitude to get your attitude adjusted with Mr. Ron Kirby. Hey everyone, welcome back to Achievement Through Attitude TV. I hope you're getting your attitude adjusted with Sergeant Major Ron Kirby. Today we're talking about leadership and meeting the challenge. And the next place that Ron's going to take us is to Beirut. Ron, let's talk about Beirut.
Well, it was interesting. I was in an infantry unit, and we were with a MU, Marine Expeditionary Unit, and it was our tour to go into Beirut. And I landed there in February, and it was a very overcast day. Got in there, and it was a tough situation.
Right.
And I was afforded the opportunity to go out and train 2 battalions of Lebanese air assault units, which was absolutely a great opportunity for me. And I was in the American Embassy giving a brief to General Tanous on the training that we were going to do. And
right.
Fortunately for me, it was 12 minutes later, but our embassy blew up as I was leaving there.
Yeah, that's what you told me before. I mean, 12 minutes later or earlier, I guess your life would have changed.
Yeah, it was a tough time. We lost a lot of Americans, and we lost some of our Marines that were in the embassy that served there.
Right.
And because of my ceremonial background, General Meade asked me to put the ceremony together to have our American bodies put on Air Force aircraft and bring back to the United States. So it was tough.
Now that called on a lot of your leadership skills and and meeting the challenge when you're putting those young American lives back onto that battleship.
It was hard.
Right.
But that was our job. That's
right.
what Marines do. We go into harm's way and we do the best we can, and sometimes it's just rough.
Right. Right. Wow. So after the Beirut tour, I guess, then where did you decide to go? I guess they give you let you get some picking at your level.
At the time, Sergeant Major Marine Corps, Sergeant Major Leland Crawford, and when I had the silent drill team, he really liked me a lot.
Right.
And so he sent me to sea duty on the battleship Iowa.
Sea duty on the battleship Iowa. Okay.
And that was a unique experience. Boy, you talk about calling on all my leadership skills. They brought all these old master chiefs back
right.
from the Korean War because the newer chiefs didn't know anything about battleships.
Right.
So they brought these old master chiefs back, and I was the only enlisted guy that stayed in the same quarters, what's called the goat locker.
Right.
And boy, did they dog me.
They were giving you the business, weren't they?
They were all over me until finally one day I started giving it back,
right.
and that's what they were looking for.
Right.
That was a fabulous tour of duty.
Right.
I learned so much from them old master chiefs.
Yeah.
So to think that you can't learn from another branch of service, that's ludicrous. You can learn from anybody in life.
Isn't that the truth? You can learn anything. You can leadership about meeting the challenges, about that there's really nothing that you can't do if you put your mind to it and you're focused and you have a plan.
Yep.
And that's kind of what the Marine Corps has done for you, right?
That and believe in yourself.
And
exactly. If you look at things and you say, I can't do that, well, a way I would look at that is, well, thousands of people before me have done it, so if they can do it, I can do it.
Right, exactly. Now, I want to talk about, they put you on, you signed up, I guess, for air wing training, and you were a sergeant major at this time, and that doesn't happen.
Yeah, well, what happened, Sergeant Major Doug Berry, who was one of my mentors, he said, Kirby, you've done everything else, we need to get you over to the wing. And I said, all right, I'm fine. So I was sergeant major. So when I got in front of the squadron, I told them, I said, hey gang, here's what I expect from you, what you can expect from me. And I said, we're going to have combat operations coming, I'll be flying with you. And they said, no, you can't. And I said, what do you mean, no, I can't? They said, you have to be aircrew qualified. And I said, well, I'll get aircrew qualified. And they started laughing at me. And I said, well, what's so funny? And they said, aircrew qualification, the young man's game, right. Sergeant Major. Well, make a long story short, I got aircrew qualified, and I flew those missions with them to show them the old man could still hang around.
So right there, again, we're talking about leadership, and you lead by example. You said, I can do it, and you did it.
Well, Phil, the thing I can add in there, Lieutenant Colonel Gator Duncan was the squadron commander. And I got to tell you, I worked for a lot of great commanders
Right.
and served with some fine general ranking officers. Gator Duncan was probably the best officer I ever served with as far as caring about his troops, the leadership, the image that he set. They all cared,
Right.
but it was just something special
About him.
about Lieutenant Colonel Duncan that set him apart, in my opinion.
Right. Yeah, and that inspired you.
Oh yeah, I mean we used to run PT. We actually did his ceremony, which is unheard of, in dress blues with fixed bayonets for when he changed of command,
Wow.
and that's how unique that unit was. And it was through the leadership. Threw it out to these young men and says, hey, look, gang, we're going to do the change of command. Do we want to do it in camis? Do we want to do it in Charlies? Or do we want to do it in blues with fixed bayonets? And they're like,
Right.
hey, we want to do the great thing.
Right. Yeah, I just can't, I hate to keep saying it, but you know, when you talk about meeting the challenge, I mean, you really got to dig inside. You've got to really want to do it.
It starts from the top, though. If you're projecting that image and they know you sincerely and passionately
Right.
care that you want this to happen, they'll follow you.
Well, let's talk about your level of caring, because I know you were assigned to Europe, and I believe that you were assigned by the president.
The final selection for me to go there, I was sent by Lieutenant General Rhodes from Quantico,
Mm-hmm.
Virginia, and to go evaluate some foreign countries and training and find places which would be good for the United States. And I ended up giving a lot of debriefs, which one, I didn't realize that the Secretary of Defense and the President was going to be there for that briefing.
Right.
It kind of threw me for a flip at the Pentagon,
Right.
but because see, enlisted you can only go 30 years.
Well, you should have been prepared for that, because I know, and I don't know if we had the picture, but we had a picture of you and Ronald Reagan on what was that?
It was on the battleship Iowa.
On the battleship Iowa.
Yeah, that was the unveiling of the Statue of Liberty. That was one of the greatest days of my career. I had a lot of great ones, but
Right.
having an opportunity to see President Reagan was absolutely fantastic.
Well, you're standing right next to him, so you didn't miss him. I'm sorry to digress, but I wanted to make sure that we mentioned that, because I got a little out of sorts. But the picture was amazing, and the fact that you got to meet him. Let's talk a little bit about what you do now with BNI and the leadership skills that you bring there.
Well, in BNI, I'm the president for my chapter, and I'm the Low Country Assistant Director. I have 7 chapters I'm responsible for. BNI has been very important to me due to the fact I've loved to lead people all my
Right.
lives and watch them succeed.
Mm-hmm.
And BNI, that's what it's all about. You get a small business owner that's really good at what they do, and they want to get with the other group of business professionals, which you meet once a week, and you pass referrals to one another. Well, for me, when helping my son with his
Right.
company locally with 7 or 8 employees, well, I'm used to having anywhere from 10,000 to 30,000 Marines that I'm directly responsible for.
Right.
So BNI, which now we have almost 200 members that I'm responsible for helping and growing their business,
Right.
It was a savior for me.
Well, that's amazing. That's a great story, because I know that you took BNI from here to the next level, basically.
We did it as a team. It was a lot of hard work by a lot of people.
All right. Well, let's talk about a team. I think I've got a photo here that I want to end with, and it's actually you dressed in all of your, I guess, the dress blues and the greens, with every medal that you have. And I understand that when you are, there it is, when you are in full gear, I guess you are one of the most decorated Marines. Well, I want to thank you on behalf of everyone for your dedication to this country, and it's amazing, and thank you for your time today, and thank you for your insight, thank you for your leadership, thank you for meeting the challenge, and thank you for being on Achievement Through Attitude TV.
It's my
Ron,
pleasure.
thank you very much.
All right.
Guys, remember, every morning when you wake up, you have an opportunity to do something amazing, to be amazing. So never hang your head, never surrender, be a leader, be fearless, meet the challenge, and we'll see you next week on Achievement Through Attitude TV to get your attitude adjusted.